Hello there everybody, welcome to episode 3 of my tutorial series for Cataclysm Dark Days Ahead. In this episode we are going to transform this little farmhouse into a nice and nifty starter base. So I'm going to set up the very basic crafting things today. I'm going to transform this character into a somewhat capable crafter. When we're looking at our skills currently, it's all at 0. We only have a bit of athletics, a bit of cutting weapons and dodging, and that's that. So what we're going to do first is we're going to start and select the spot where I want to make most of my things happen. Here I'm going to make that directly next to the water. You can select that for yourself. I personally love every spot that has a replenishable water source or an endless water source. It is not a must-have though. It does work without it as well, but I'm going to keep that place. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to use the Construct Terrain menu here with the asterisk. So one thing that I want to do is I want to set up a crafting spot. So this X here is now my crafting spot, and whenever I go into the crafting menu, crafting will happen on that spot, so I will not get prompted every time when I want to craft something where I want to craft things. It's really annoying otherwise. Alright, so currently our situation is honestly not that good. We're pretty banged up. We have basically only a couple of containers, and we don't have that many resources to work with. In the crafting menu, well, when we're pressing tab, we see all those different categories, stuff that we can make, and most importantly, the white recipes are the ones we got already the necessary items for. The grayed out ones we cannot make currently. So first, I want to talk real quick about how this all is supposed to be understood. So let's go over to something that we actually want to craft here. Yeah, let's go on over to the armor tab. So we see here what kind of skill we need. Failure chances, these are usually only if you are on a low level. How long it'll take. Other characteristics, and most importantly, what tools do we need and what items will we need. So here the low level recipes don't need any tools whatsoever, but as you see here, we will need sewing tools, cutting tools, all manner of different items, and this is where qualities come into play. I already showed that in the last episode a little bit, but let's see, qualities, yeah, here. So my axe here, for example, has a level 3 tree cutting quality and a level 1 cutting quality. And every item in the game can have several of these qualities. Qualities are mainly, or almost only, used for crafting, and basically a high level in a certain quality makes an item already valuable and interesting on its own. So if you ever come past a item with a high sawing quality or high hammering quality or whatever, it is really worth checking these out. Anyways, let's get back to the actual thing here. So here we also see this primary skill thing. This is really important. So this shows our current skill versus the necessary skill. Always make sure that your current skill is never lower than the necessary skill, because then you will produce failures without end and won't gain any experience. So if you produce something which is exactly your skill level, you will develop that skill. If you produce something which is below your skill level, you won't gain experience in getting better at that. In short, you have to do something which challenges you a bit. So we're going to start out and make us a belly wrap here. I mostly do this for the sake of tailoring. So I press enter and my character now makes that. Now let's see, I'm pressing at, checking out the tailoring level. We're at 51%. That wasn't enough yet. So I'm stepping on that thing, go into the disassemble menu, and we could now disassemble the belly wrap if we'd want to. I'm not gonna, because I don't need the materials that badly. So I'm just going to use the remaining cotton patches that I have to craft yet another one. So here we go. And if we check it out now, my tailoring is at 93%. So one more one more. We are going to make a blindfold out of a scarf. Wonderful. Oh, well, I'm rather using the cotton sheets versus the stuff on my person. And now we got it. Tailoring is level 1. So we can now step on that square here and disassemble things if we want to, but you don't need to. And that's the fundamentals of crafting in that game. So we could make now a pointy stick because we have something with a cutting quality on us, and we have a stick. And that would level up our fabrication. So I want to go real quickly over these. So tailoring, I don't think I need to explain that too badly. Survival is everything that is that it ranges from making bows over knowing what kind of herbs you can safely use over to making improvised, very powerful replacements for modern gear. So survival is a mixed bag, and it shows up in various recipes. Food handling is your cooking skill. Fabrication is basically your machine production knowledge. It goes over from crafting items out of wood, smithing, all these things are in the fabrication. Electronics, well, that's everything from soldering stuff over to understanding how everything electronics works. And applied science is chemistry mostly. So that's your crafting skills in the game. It's quite a lot, isn't it? So all in all, what we're looking for here currently is we want to level up fabrication so we can make better items. We want to level up food handling so we can have tastier food. And we want to level up survival and tailoring to get ourselves better gear and better options to survive in general. Survival is a little bit optional, but you need it for several crafting recipes, so it ain't that optional after all. So let's get on over to the food district. Here we don't have anything because we don't have any food stuff around here. So the first thing that I want to make here with you guys is a couple of makeshift tools. So if you enter makeshift, you will see that there's a couple of makeshift items that you can make without any talent. What I'm going to look for here first is a makeshift crowbar and a makeshift hammer. These two items are really, really useful because you're only one screwdriver away from being able to dismantling all manner of different items. So the first thing that I'm looking for here now is I'm looking for a rock. So since I have a huge readout here, so I can filter now stone, or is it rock? I can't remember. Rock. So a flaking rock is not what we're looking for because a flaking rock doesn't have hammering quality. It has it's used for other things. So here we have our makeshift sling. Capital U to enter the unload menu, so I can pack out all the items that were in there. So we're now looking for this one. Is it a rock or is it a stone? A rock. So a rock has 1 point of hammering quality. So it's the first tool that we're going to pick up here, funnily enough. So the next thing here, we got a folding table there. I don't think we have anything we can use here. Well, there's a sink, not what I'm looking for. So what I'm looking for is a piece of metallic furniture that you can use to extract some pipe from. I hope I find something in here. Well, in the worst case, you can always get some pipe from a sink, you know, or from the bathroom appliance. It's just not sure about that if you're only getting these there. So let's check this. We're now looking for metal and for wood. So to get wood, we can just simply smash furniture. So I personally strongly recommend you not using your main weapon because your main weapon might suffer damage from you being used as a smashing object. Instead, pick up your rock and start whacking away. So here we have now created a plank. This is just what we need. Planks are used in various different crafting recipes, And when you start smashing up furniture, you see that you get out several different items there, but it is never as good as dismantling these. That's one thing I got to say. So let's see, do we find anything useful here? We could now just shortcut this by looting a screwdriver, and often you find a hammer also in the kitchen appliances. So if you don't want to craft all these items yourself, you can also pick these up here. So screwdriver, for example, is here. I'm going to show you. You can craft a screwdriver just out of a bit of steel and a plank. But we're going to use that. We're going to pick up that thing here because, you know, why not? So, sadly, I haven't found any metallic shelf here so far. So we're going to travel over to the other evac shelter for the sake of that. We're not going to stop for a black rat. Don't worry about black rats too much. So the evac shelter here has exactly what we need. So this is just what we're looking for, a locker. So smash away with your rocking hands. Will take a while, but eventually we'll loot what we required, the precious, precious pipe. So pipes are really, really powerful early game resources. Memorize for yourself where you can find them, because you can make so many very, very useful things out of pipes. Here we're going to use the first pipe that we found for the production of a makeshift crowbar. So we're going to head on over here to our crafting spot and press again F. And here we go, makeshift. So as you see here, we can now make that makeshift crowbar with a fabrication skill of 0. We got a hammering tool, we got a pipe, so we're going to make that. Also keep in mind that this way you're leveling up your fabrication skill as well. So the makeshift crowbar comes with prying quality. That's one thing we require. And now the next thing we are going to go for is the makeshift hammer. For that, we're requiring some steel and some rope. So steel you can easily acquire by just smashing on a car frame. There will be all manner of different steel byproducts. I get into the advanced item menu here because I personally find it way easier to manage. And we're now looking for, I can't remember, chunks or lumps of steel. But whatever might be the case, just loot all these materials because they are so useful. Also, sheet metal is a very, very valuable resource that you can use for all manner of different items, immediately looted when you find some. Scrap metal and all these other steel and metal parts, they're invaluable tools in your upcoming adventures, believe me. So, we're going to drop all the steel lumps here, and if you don't want to mark everything here inside there, press T so you can go into category selection. Here we go, boom. And now you can just press enter to drop the entire stack. So, next thing we craft is a makeshift hammer, but we're lacking rope. Are we? No, we're not. Here, so you get on over to your disassembly menu and look for those long strings. They can be disassembled into short strings. And once that's done, you're already ready to make yourself your own makeshift hammer. The makeshift hammer is interesting because it has a hammering quality of 2. That's better than a rock. You can hammer more precisely and more effective with that thing. But it's basically just a lump of steel put together with a piece of string. So here I get now asked which kind of component I want to use. I use the stick because it's smaller. And here, oh, I can use chunk or lump of steel. That's why I was confused. Yeah. So we have now a makeshift hammer. So we're not really needing the rock anymore for now. You could keep it though for smashing purposes. It's up to you. So we got now almost the holy trifecta of items. The last thing we would need now would be a screwdriver. We have the steel, we have the items there, and I'm going to make it. I could loot it also out of the kitchen, but it's I'm going to go for the screwdriver out of one simple reason. It is vacation training, you know? We want to skill ourselves up and therefore I'm making it myself. So now we got these items. Alright, I have one screwdriver left over, but I wanted to do it for the sake of demonstration. Why is that also important, you're asking now? Because now you can get into the construction menu, that's construct terrain, asterisk, and now we can deconstruct furniture, because we have a tool with prying, that's the crowbar, and we have a tool with screwdriving. So now, instead of smashing the items, we can now dismantle them. The advantage is very simple. When you're dismantling the furniture, you're receiving the 100% of the invested materials back. If you're smashing it, you're destroying a part of the resource, obviously. So we are now going to head over with our tools back to that evac shelter. I bet that the rats will will get in our way again. Alrighty, so here we go. So here I'm going to start dismantling certain areas. So I want to deconstruct the metallic furniture first, because we get sheet metal out of that and lots of pipes. I'm not sure if we can carry all the stuff away here, but these items, they are really, really valuable. So here, the sheet metal doesn't fit into my pocket. Here is a nice little trick that you can use. Press W and wield one piece of sheet metal. You know, you can carry one piece of sheet metal just in your hands, no problem. Might be too big for your container, but that's a way around. We're picking up all the items that are metal here, and we're going to use these later for the sake of our crafting. So I'm deconstructing here that shelf here as well. As you see, we cannot pick up any much more than those nails, but nails are also useful. There's a rock. Pick up rocks whenever you can. Rocks are a very, very useful multifunctional crafting resource, and you can make quite amazing things out of these. So it really pays off to pick up rocks wherever you can. I'm going to show you later in the series why, and you won't be leaving any rocks behind in the early game anymore, I'm afraid. So we're now back at our home spot. We're now going to drop all our stuff here. So here we go. We were able to salvage all those pipes. That's amazing. And I'm going to drop practically everything that I'm not immediately needing onto this tile here. Okay. So we're almost done here. There's only one thing that I'm missing here, and that's now a brazier. But we cannot craft a brazier yet because our fabrication skill's not there yet. So we're going to find us a good recipe for that. So if you want to check this out, you can always use the search function here as well. So proficiency used to craft here. So if we press capital P, fabrication, or wait a sec, sorry, proficiency or something else. My bad. Primary skill used to craft, small p, sorry. So, fabrication. So now we can select some recipes that will be available for us to level up our fabrication. I strongly recommend you one that has a longer runtime, because basically the longer you craft, the more experience you will grind out with that. The less time the recipe requires, the less XP yielded, basically. So now we can make a brazier with a fabrication skill of 1 and hammering tool of 2. Yes, and sheet metal. That's why I've been after that stuff. But sheet metal is a very multifunctional material that you will be after. So, the brazier, we're making this. And let's see, this brought our fabrication almost to level 2. And that's, by the way, the reason why I don't invest any starting experience into crafting skills. They're so dirty cheap in activate and getting done and getting them up like that. So, I pick up the brazier, press A to activate it, and deploy it. So now we have a fire bowl, because You know, fire is one crafting material, so to say, that we're going to use quite a lot. So, now we got a lot of things. My character is very, very hungry, he says. So we're going to utilize now a couple of new features here. So when you press capital Z for the zones manager, here. Oh, it's Y, I'm sorry. Capital Y, whoopsie. So capital Y for the zones manager. Here you can define zones. Basically tell the game how to handle certain parts of your base. This is a very, very extensive part of the game, and we're only going to skim for the very basics here. Namely, we're going to transport all the food stuff from inside the house outside to our crafting area. So, press A to add a zone. There's tons of different zones. What we're going to go for is the loot type food. So, here we go. Food. And we're going to define that all the food is going to be dropped here, pressing enter twice, and we're going to add another for drink. There we go. So now we told the game that all the food and drink loot is supposed to be there. So now we're going to go over and create a new loot zone called unsorted. Here basically we're telling the game that everything inside this zone hasn't been sorted yet. So I'm starting to do like this. And now you see I'm drawing a rectangle over this zone, pressing enter, and that's that. We're saving these. And now I get in here, press capital O for zone actions, and now sort out my loot. Just like that, my dude now ran through the kitchen and sorted out all the items that were either food or drink and packed them out there. This is one dirty cheap way of looting an area without breaking a sweat. So just remember when you're done to delete the unsorted loot area by getting into your zones manager back and removing that. Boom, done. So this way I could now draw a rectangle over this entire house to scan it for food, or you know, you can do various things with that, and we're going to utilize this over the course of the series quite a lot. So while we're talking about it, let's do this one more time, you know? Let's deconstruct a part of the table, and I want to tell the game that we got another zone for firewood. So, where was it? I think it was down here. Yeah, source, firewood. So I'm plotting this down here, and now I do another thing, loot wood, drop it onto the same tile as the firewood. And now we're going to do the same thing as before, unsorted zone, and we're just going to spread that over the entire area here, just like that, boom. Let's escape to get out there, make sure to save the changes, and tell the game to sort out my loot. And here we go. All the wood that has been available in the house is now outside here. Brilliant, isn't it? So now we can just press E and start a fire here in our brazier, which will be automatically refueled by the firewood zone that we got there. And let's see what we can cook here. Well, not too much, because our character's food handling is a catastrophe. So we're going to go and rehydrate some fish. Why not? It only costs water. It doesn't need the fire we have. We could make us some coffee too, but let's rehydrate that fish. Press capital E and eat some. So up here you have also a daily intake of calories, so check these out and stay safe with that. So 1000 calories is not enough for an entire day. Let's munch down the old sauerkraut before it goes bad. And when you're done with all that, press E again to extinguish the fire. This will automatically use charges from your lighters or your matchbooks, so make sure you have some sort of a fire source here. And just like that, we have our very basic camp down. There is, of course, way more to be done, and one of the very first things that I'll do here, let's restart that fire, is I want to get my food handling higher. Personal favorite way of getting that done is cooking clean water for me, because you know, water that you find is just no good. So I messed up my my cooking Are you kidding me? You mess up and destroy the water. Alright. That was very, very unexpected. I'm so bad at cooking, I'm even able to destroy water. But the good news there is we have now produced the water, and now game asks us where we put it in, and that's where the gallon-sized zipper bags come into play. You can store a lot of water in there, and well, they're only very, very easy to break, basically. But go. It's... where did it go? So if you wonder where something went, get into the advanced manager, press F, and then you can just sort it out. And if you press R, you reset the filter. So the gallon-sized zipper bag, I don't know where it went. The game here tells me now, by the way, in this column, it's south of me. So I'm obviously just blind. Yep, I am. I don't know why the finished crafted item is not on the crafting bench. Ah, yeah, because the zipper bags are there. Most of the time there is a answer to your question. So here, those... that's a nice storage for clean water. And let's see, our food handling skill also jumped to 1. And with that, we've unlocked lots and lots of new recipes. But since our stockpiles are so tremendously low, we cannot do much. So one thing that I wanted to go for here is with the makeshift bandages. We already made a couple of them. So let's get back there and enter bandage. So obviously I am not good enough to make better bandages here. Ah yeah, that's because my healthcare sucks. Okay, if you want to change that, there is also a tab called Practice. I strongly recommend you to use that. First we extinguish the fire, because, you know, we don't want to waste our fuel. And practicing or bandaging will train our healthcare. So the moment we snapped into level 1, the game asks us if we want to stop practicing. By all means say yes, because this with the easy practices you can't get better than 1. And here, you can now go for training melee, requires a pipe or a plank, proficiency increased, stop practicing, yes. And we're going to do that now for throwing, and for unarmed combat as well, because why not, you know? This is a cost-free way of increasing your skill there. So, now we could train carving. There's lots of things that you can train, but these beginner trainings are really, really useful. When we get into bandages now, you see we have unlocked new recipes because healthcare jumped to level 1. We can now bleach our bandages, and that's the first thing that I want to do. Bleach is often to be found in kitchens, and it's a flat-out upgrade from the makeshift bandages. So let me show you the makeshift bandages, the bleached makeshift bandages. Offer a poor quality versus a very poor quality. And with this game, let me tell you one thing. A wound which ain't bandaged is basically not healing at all. Well, it's a little bit of an over-exaggeration, but it's really, really bad. So I put my really good bandage on the torso, where I'm wounded the worst, and I'm upgrading all the other bandages just like that. Don't feel like you're wasting any bandages. There is no such thing as a wasted bandage. It's just a well-invested bandage. Alrighty, so let's see, do we have some low-quality antiseptics here anywhere? Yeah, we have alcohol wipes. If you have these, you know, I would never recommend you to utilize antiseptic unless you're in a, you have lots of it or you're in a pinch. But wounds also get heal quicker when you disinfect them. By the way, alcohol wipe packages need to be unloaded with capital U before you can use them. So we're using the alcohol wipes now for all the wounds there. It would have been a interesting idea to use antiseptics for my arm and my torso here as well to speed up healing there too. But I don't know. I don't have any further antiseptics. I'm careful with the stuff that I got. So, last step is we're sealing off all the windows. Sadly, there's I'm missing one curtain here. That's bad. So we're going to go for another room. My personal verdict: don't sleep in a room that you cannot seal off completely light-wise. There are reasons. So, my character is still thirsty, so we're going to get back to our little crafty spot. And we're going to drink some water. Don't worry, you can't drink hot water. It doesn't kill your dude. And I'm going to stack up my calories a little bit. So 1,700 should be okay. And closing the door. And it's now too dark to do more things for today. I'm pressing enter to get into the MISC tab. You can just use this shortcut here to get into the sleep tab. It's up to you. Telling my character to wake up in 9 hours. And it's been the episode for today. So the base is now set up and running. We are able to loot stuff here. We're able to get ourselves acquainted. We can drop off our treasures that we find on our adventures on a place where we're able to craft things. I'm really happy with what I got here. Quickly delete that zone, and what's left is to say thanks for watching, and next episode we're going to start and plunder our vicinity and start gearing us up for bigger and more exciting adventures. Drop me your comments down below, leave me a thumbs up on that video if you enjoyed, and consider subscribing. I'd be delighted to have you, and it's a dirty cheap way of supporting the channel. Only one click required. And if you want to stay updated with my content, just hit that bell button afterwards and you'll receive notifications. Playlist to the entirety of the series is to be found in the description box. And if you feel overwhelmed by the series and its pace, I also made a beginners type series. I also have put the link down there. Alright, enough of the advertisements. Thanks for watching. Thanks for still hanging around. Hope you have a great day and see you next time.